Off the rugged coast of New Zealand's South Island, Te Whakaari shimmered under the Pacific sun, a lush paradise of rolling hills, dense forests, and golden beaches. For generations, the Māori community of Kaitahu had thrived here, their small village of 300 souls living in harmony with the land. Elder Hana Rawiri, a wise woman with silver-streaked hair and deep brown eyes, led the community with a quiet strength, teaching her people to respect the balance of nature. Life was simple but rich. Families fished the crystal waters, grew kumara in fertile fields, and gathered around bonfires to share stories of their ancestors. But beneath this tranquility, a shadow loomed. A plague of invasive rabbits, introduced by early settlers, had exploded in number, ravaging crops and stripping the island bare. The once abundant fields were now pockmarked with burrows, threatening the community's survival. Hana stood on a cliff overlooking the village, her heart heavy. The rabbits weren't just pests. They were a crisis, unraveling the delicate ecosystem her people had protected for centuries. "We need a solution," she said to her grandson, Kahu, a spirited 20-year-old with dreams of saving his home. "Something bold, something that honors the land." Little did they know, their answer would change the island forever. The rabbits were relentless, their numbers doubling every few months. They devoured crops overnight, leaving farmers like Tāne Matthews, a burly man in his 40s, staring at barren fields. "My father's land fed us for decades," Tāne said, his voice cracking as he kicked a burrow. "Now, it's a wasteland." The village's food stores dwindled, and children went to bed hungry, their laughter replaced by worry. Traditional methods failed. Traps caught only a fraction of the rabbits, and poison risked harming native wildlife like the rare kaka parrot. Kahu, who'd studied environmental science online, scoured forums for ideas, but nothing seemed viable. "We're fighting a losing battle," he told Hana, his dark eyes clouded with frustration. The community gathered nightly, their faces etched with fear, searching for hope. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Hana's voice rose above the murmurs. "Our ancestors faced storms and survived. We need a guardian, a protector, to restore balance." Her words sparked a flicker of hope, but no one could imagine the scale of what was to come. A solution that would test their courage and rewrite their story. At a tense community meeting in the marae, the village's sacred meeting house, ideas flew, but none stuck. Tāne suggested hiring hunters, but the cost was too high. Others proposed fences, but the island's size made it impossible. Then Kahu stood, his voice steady despite his nerves. "What if we bring in German shepherds? They're natural hunters, loyal and smart. They could control the rabbits without chemicals." The room erupted. Tāne scoffed, his arms crossed. "Dogs? You want to turn our island into a kennel?" But Hana's eyes gleamed with interest. "My father spoke of dogs as guardians in old stories," she said. "Tell us more, Kahu." Kahu explained his plan. Import-trained German shepherds, known for their discipline and hunting skills, to chase down rabbits and protect the land. Skeptics abounded, but Hana's trust in Kahu swayed the elders. "We've tried everything else," she said. "Let's trust the boy's vision." The vote was close, but Kahu's idea won. As he left the marae, his heart raced with excitement and fear. He'd just proposed releasing 737 German shepherds, enough to cover the island's 50 square miles. The adventure was beginning, and there was no turning back. Months later, the first shipment of German shepherds arrived on Te Whakaari's docks, their barks echoing across the bay. The dogs, sourced from ethical breeders and trainers in New Zealand and Australia, were a sight to behold, sleek, muscular, with intelligent eyes and unwavering focus. Kahu, now the project's unofficial leader, greeted each crate, his hands trembling with responsibility. The community gathered, some in awe, others wary. A young girl, Aroha, clung to her mother's hand, whispering, "Are they safe?" Kahu knelt beside her, a shepherd named Tāne nuzzling his hand. "They're here to help us, Aroha. They're our protectors." Hana blessed the dogs in a Māori ceremony, her voice weaving ancient prayers for harmony. The dogs seemed to listen, their ears perked, as if sensing their purpose. As the crates opened, 737 German shepherds poured onto the island, their paws kicking up sand. They explored fields and forests, their instincts kicking in as they chased rabbits into burrows. The villagers watched, hearts pounding, unsure if this gamble would save or doom their home. Kahu's dream was alive, but its success was far from certain. Within days, the shepherd's impact was undeniable. Rabbits, once bold enough to raid gardens in daylight, now fled at the sight of the dogs. Tāne, a black and tan shepherd with a fierce bark, led a pack that cornered dozens of rabbits in a single afternoon. Farmers like Tāne Matthews stood in awe, watching the dogs patrol his fields. "I'll be damned," he muttered. The kid was right. Kahu trained the community to work with the dogs, teaching them commands and setting up feeding stations. Aroha, overcoming her fear, adopted a gentle shepherd named Moana, who slept by her bed. "She's my friend," Aroha said, her smile brightening the village. The dog's presence lifted spirits, their tireless work restoring hope where despair had taken root. By the end of the first month, rabbit numbers had plummeted. Fields showed signs of recovery, green shoots pushing through ravaged soil. Hana stood with Kahu, watching a pack of shepherds chase a rabbit into the forest. "You've given us a chance, Mokopuna," she said, using the Maori term for grandchild. But Kahu's eyes were wary. "It's only the beginning, Nana. We have to keep the balance." He couldn't shake the feeling that their victory hid a cost. As months passed, the German shepherds wove themselves into the fabric of Te Whakaari. Each dog found a role. Some patrolled farms, others guarded homes, and a few, like Moana, became companions for children. Tāne, once a skeptic, named his shepherd Rongo after the Maori god of peace, chuckling as the dog slept by his hearth. "Never thought I'd love a dog more than my tractor," he said. Kahu became the island's dog whisperer, his bond with Tāne inspiring others. He spent nights studying the dog's behavior, noting their loyalty and intelligence. "They're not just hunters," he told Hana. "They understand us like we're their pack." The community built kennels and held naming ceremonies, cementing the dog's status as guardians. Tourists began arriving, drawn by whispers of the Shepherd Island. Social media buzzed with videos of dogs herding rabbits, captioned "Number Te Whakaari Miracle." The influx brought money for repairs and supplies, but Kahu worried about the strain on the dogs. "They're working too hard," he confided to Aroha. "We need to protect them too." The seeds of a new challenge were quietly sprouting. A year after the dogs' arrival, the island was thriving. Crops flourished, and the kakaparrot sang again in the forests. But Kahu noticed troubling signs. Tāne, his loyal companion, grew lethargic, his coat dull. Other dogs showed similar symptoms: limping, fatigue, and weight loss. "Something's wrong," Kahu told Hana, his voice tight with worry. A visiting veterinarian, Dr. Emma Clark, examined the dogs and delivered a grim diagnosis: malnutrition. "They're burning too much energy chasing rabbits," she said. "You need a sustainable feeding plan, or they'll collapse." The news hit Kahu like a wave. He'd focused on the rabbits, not the dogs' needs. The community rallied, diverting funds to buy dog food, but supplies were limited on the remote island. Hana gathered the villagers, her voice firm. "These dogs saved us. Now we save them." Kahu felt the weight of his decision, his dream teetering on the edge. He vowed to fix this, but a deeper fear gnawed at him. What other consequences had he overlooked? The island's balance was fragile, and he was about to learn how delicate it truly was. The feeding crisis tested the community's resolve. Kahu organized fishing trips to supplement the dog's diet with fish, but storms made deliveries sporadic. Tāne and others donated portions of their crops, grumbling but compliant. "These dogs better keep earning their keep," Tāne said, though his fondness for Rongo softened his tone. Aroha, now 9, took the crisis personally, sneaking fish to Moana despite her mother's warnings. "She's hungry, Mama," she said, tears in her eyes. Kahu saw her determination and recruited her to help distribute food, turning her worry into action. The dogs responded, their energy returning, but the effort strained the village's resources. Dr. Clark stayed to monitor the dogs, warning Kahu about overpopulation. "737 is a lot," she said. "If they breed unchecked, you'll have a new problem." Kahu nodded, his mind racing. He'd solved one crisis, only to face another. The shepherds were heroes, but their presence demanded constant vigilance. The island's story was far from over. By year 3, Te Whakaari was a global sensation. Tourists flocked to see the shepherds, booking boat tours and snapping photos. A hashtag, Martin Shepherd Guardians, trended worldwide with influencers like Mia Lee, a bubbly vlogger, filming the dogs in action. "This is paradise," Mia gushed, her video racking up millions of views. The money was a lifeline. The village built a school, repaired the marae, and funded dog care. But the influx brought chaos, littered beaches, noisy crowds, and stressed dogs. Tāne snapped at tourists when Rongo growled at a selfie stick-waving visitor. "They're not props," he shouted, his patience fraying. Kahu and Hana met to address the tension. "The dogs brought us wealth, but at what cost?" Hana asked. Kahu proposed rules, guided tours, no feeding the dogs. But enforcement was tricky. The island was thriving, yet Kahu felt it slipping from their control. The shepherds had saved them, but now they needed saving from fame. Dr. Clark's research revealed a new twist. The shepherds were impacting more than rabbits. Native bird populations, like the kaka, were declining as dogs chased fledglings. "They're hunters," Emma told Kahu. "Rabbits are gone, so they're targeting other prey." The news stunned him. He'd saved the crops, but endangered the wildlife he loved. Hana called a meeting, her voice heavy. "We wanted balance, but we've tipped the scales again." Tāne argued for culling the dogs, but Aroha's tearful plea, "Moana's family," silenced him. Kahu proposed training the dogs to avoid birds, using scent barriers and commands. It was a long shot, but he couldn't bear losing the shepherds. The training began, with Kahu and Emma working tirelessly. Tāne led a pack through forests, rewarding them for ignoring bird nests. Progress was slow, but kaka sightings increased. Kahu felt a flicker of hope, but Emma's warning lingered. Nature's balance is brutal. You can't control everything. The island's saga was growing more complex by the day. In year 4, a cyclone slammed Te Whakaari, flooding fields and toppling trees. The shepherd's instincts saved lives. Tāne barked furiously, waking Kahu's family as floodwaters rose. Villagers fled to high ground, guided by the dog's frantic calls. "They knew before we did," Hana said, her voice awed as she clutched Aroha. The storm left devastation. Crops ruined, homes damaged, and food scarce. The dogs, too, suffered, their kennels destroyed. Kahu led a rescue, finding Tāne trapped under debris, his leg injured. "You're gonna be okay, boy," Kahu whispered, tears mixing with rain. The community rebuilt, their bond with the dogs stronger than ever. Tourists sent aid, moved by viral videos of the dog's heroism. But the storm exposed a truth. The island's reliance on the shepherds was total. "They're our heart," Aroha told Kahu, bandaging Moana's paw. Kahu nodded, but fear gnawed at him. What if the next crisis broke them all? By year 5, Dr. Clark's prediction came true. The shepherds were breeding. Puppies roamed the island, their playful barks a joy but a warning. "We can't sustain more," Emma said, noting strained resources. Kahu proposed a spaying program, but the cost was steep, and some, like Tāne, resisted. "Rongo's pups are strong. Why stop them?" Hana mediated, her voice firm. "We brought these dogs here. We're responsible for their future." The community voted for sterilization, but emotions ran high. Aroha cried when Moana was spayed, though Kahu explained it was for her health. "It's not fair," she said, her voice small. Kahu hugged her, his own heart heavy. The program reduced puppy numbers, easing pressure. But Kahu noticed a new issue: inbreeding signs. Some puppies were weak, with cloudy eyes. Emma confirmed his fears. "Limited gene pools are dangerous. You need new blood or a smaller population." Kahu's dream was unraveling, and he wondered if he'd doom the dogs he loved. A wealthy tourist, James Carter, a tech mogul from Auckland, visited in year 6, captivated by the shepherds. "This place is magic," he told Kahu, watching Tāne herd rabbits. He offered to fund a sanctuary, relocating some dogs to the mainland. "They'd be stars, and your island gets breathing room." Kahu was tempted. Fewer dogs meant less strain, but Hana was wary. "Our guardians belong here," she said. Tāne agreed, his loyalty to Rongo fierce. "They're not zoo animals?" Carter's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Think about it. Fame fades, but money lasts." Kahu declined, but Carter's parting words chilled him. "You'll regret this." The offer sparked debate. Some villagers saw opportunity, others betrayal. Kahu felt torn, his vision for the island clashing with its reality. The shepherds were heroes, but their presence was a double-edged sword. He lay awake, Tāne by his side, wondering if he'd made the right call. Carter retaliated, posting a scathing blog. "Te Whakaari's dog experiment is failing." He claimed the shepherds were starving and harming wildlife, twisting the truth. The post went viral, with Shepherd Island fail trending. Tourists canceled bookings, and hate comments flooded Kahu's inbox. "You're killing those dogs," one read. Kahu was devastated, his dream labeled a disaster. Hana rallied the community, her voice fierce. "We tell our story, not his." They launched a live stream showing Tāne and Moana healthy and loved. Aroha spoke, her voice clear. "These dogs are our family. Don't believe the lies." The video countered Carter's narrative, regaining support. But the damage lingered. Funding dried up, and Kahu felt the weight of scrutiny. "I wanted to save us," he told Hana, his voice breaking. She touched his shoulder. "You did. Now we fight again." The shepherd's legacy was at stake, and Kahu vowed to protect it no matter the cost. By year 7, the inbreeding crisis worsened. Tāne's pups showed deformities, and Moana's litter was stillborn. Emma's tests confirmed a genetic bottleneck. "The original 737 weren't diverse enough," she said. "You need new dogs or drastic measures." Kahu's heart sank. He'd saved the island, but endangered the shepherds. The community faced a grim choice: import new dogs or reduce the population. Tāne argued for new blood, but Hana cautioned against repeating past mistakes. "We can't keep adding without understanding," she said. Kahu proposed a compromise. Sterilize most dogs, keeping a small, healthy group. The plan passed, but emotions ran high. Aroha, now 12, struggled with Moana's declining health. "Why can't we fix her?" she asked Kahu, tears streaming. He hugged her, his own grief raw. "We're trying, Aroha. For her. For all of them." The shepherd's heroism was undeniable, but their suffering was a painful reminder of nature's limits. Carter returned in year 8, his offer renewed, a mainland sanctuary with veterinary care. "Your dogs are dying," he said, his tone smug. "Let me save them." Kahu was torn. Emma confirmed the dogs needed better care, but moving them felt like betrayal. "They're Te Whakaari's soul," he told Hana. The community split. Tāne, whose Rongo was blind, leaned toward Carter's plan. "I can't watch him suffer," he said. Aroha, fiercely loyal to Moana, begged Kahu to refuse. "They belong here." Hana called for unity, but tensions flared. Kahu visited Tāne, now limping, and made a decision. "We'll build our own sanctuary." The plan galvanized the village. They crowdfunded supplies using tourist donations. Kahu led the construction. His hands blistered, but his spirit renewed. The shepherds deserved a future on their island, not as Carter's trophies. But time was running out, and Kahu feared he was fighting a losing battle. By year 9, the sanctuary stood. A fenced haven with kennels, a clinic, and green fields. Emma trained villagers as vet assistants, and Tāne thrived under care. "Look at you, old boy," Kahu said, ruffling his fur. Moana, weaker but spirited, joined Aroha there daily, her tail wagging. Tourists returned, drawn by the sanctuary's story. A documentary, Guardians of Te Whakaari, went viral, showcasing the dog's heroism and the community's resilience. "These dogs saved us, and now we save them," Hana said on camera, her voice steady. The film raised funds, easing the crisis. But Emma delivered a new warning. "The dog's ailments are spreading faster than we can treat. Blindness and respiratory issues plagued even young shepherds." Kahu's heart sank. He'd built a sanctuary, but was it too late? The island's miracle was teetering, and he braced for the next blow. In year 10, a scientist, Dr. Liam Patel, arrived to study the shepherds. His findings stunned everyone. The dog's ailments weren't just from inbreeding, but from rabbit-transmitted pathogens. "The rabbits carried a virus," he said. "It's been dormant in the dogs, now spreading." The sanctuary's close quarters had accelerated it. Kahu was shattered. "We thought we'd won," he told Hana, his voice hollow. She gripped his hand. "You fought for our home. That's victory." The community faced a heart-wrenching choice. Isolate the sick dogs or risk losing them all. Aroha, now a teen, proposed a radical idea. "Let's find a cure." Dr. Patel agreed to try, partnering with global researchers. Kahu rallied the village, their unity stronger than ever. "These dogs are us," he said. "We don't give up." The shepherd's fate hung in the balance, their legacy a testament to courage, and a warning of nature's complexity. The search for a cure became a global cause. Crowdfunding campaigns, fueled by the documentary, raised millions. Scientists in Australia and Germany tested vaccines, while Emma and Kahu isolated sick dogs, Tāne among them. "Hang on, boy," Kahu whispered, his voice thick with emotion. Aroha led a youth group, writing letters to researchers worldwide. "Moana's my family," she wrote, her words shared online, inspiring donations. Tāne, once skeptical, cared for Rongo daily. His gruff exterior softened. "Never thought I'd cry over a dog," he admitted, wiping his eyes. Tourists volunteered, cleaning kennels and spreading the story. Save the Shepherds trended, uniting animal lovers globally. Kahu felt hope, but Dr. Patel's updates were grim. The virus is mutating. We're racing time. The island's miracle was on the brink, and Kahu prayed they'd make it. In Year 10's final months, Dr. Patel's team developed a vaccine, effective in trials. It's not a cure, but it slows the virus, he said. Kahu and Emma vaccinated the dogs, starting with Tāne and Moana. "You're fighters," Kahu told them, his hands steady despite his fear. The community celebrated, but the victory was bittersweet. Some dogs, too sick, didn't survive, including Rongo. Tāne buried him under a pohutukawa tree, his voice breaking. "You were my mate," he said. Aroha clung to Moana, now stable but frail. "We did it, girl," she whispered. The vaccine saved most shepherds, but Dr. Patel warned of long-term risks. "The virus could return," he said. Kahu nodded, his resolve unshaken. The island had faced storms, rabbits, and now a virus. They'd face this, too. The shepherd's legacy was worth fighting for. By year 11, Te Whakaari adapted. The sanctuary thrived, with 400 healthy shepherds, the rest lost to the virus or age. Kahu trained new dogs, imported with diverse genes, ensuring no repeat of the crisis. "We learned the hard way," he told Hana, now frail but proud. Tourism stabilized, with eco-friendly tours funding the sanctuary. Aroha, a budding vet, studied under Emma, her bond with Moana inspiring her. "She taught me courage," she said. Tāne led guided hikes, sharing Rongo's story with visitors, his grief fueling his purpose. The island was a haven again, but changed. The shepherds were fewer, their role more symbolic than practical. Hana blessed the sanctuary, her voice soft. "They gave us hope, and we gave them a home." Kahu smiled, Tāne by his side. The adventure wasn't over. It was evolving. Carter visited again, humbled by the island's resilience. "I was wrong," he said, offering funding with no strings. Kahu accepted, directing it to research. "This is for the dogs," he said, his tone firm. Carter nodded, a rare respect in his eyes. The community welcomed the funds, but trust was slow. Tāne, wary, monitored Carter's involvement. "No more games," he said. Aroha, ever optimistic, saw opportunity. "He's helping Moana's friends," she told Kahu. The island was healing, but its scars were a reminder of past battles. Kahu reflected on Carter's role. "He wanted to own our story," he told Hana. "But it's ours." She smiled, her eyes bright. "You've grown, Mokopuna. You're our guardian now." Kahu felt the weight of her words, ready to lead Te Whakaari into its next chapter. Te Whakaari's story inspired global conservation efforts. Universities studied the island's model, blending traditional knowledge with science. Kahu spoke at conferences, Tāne by his side, sharing lessons of balance. "Nature's not ours to control," he said. "It's ours to respect." Aroha's letters became a book, Moana's Miracle, raising funds for animal welfare. "She's my hero," Aroha said at a signing, Moana nuzzling her. Tāne mentored youth, teaching them to care for the land. "Rongo's spirit's in every dog," he said, his voice steady. The island hosted eco-retreats, with visitors learning from Hana's wisdom. "The shepherds taught us harmony," she said, her voice frail but powerful. The world listened, and Te Whakaari became a beacon of resilience, proving that even flawed solutions could spark change. A new threat emerged: climate change. Rising seas threatened Te Whakaari's shores, and storms grew fiercer. Kahu and Emma studied relocation options, but the community resisted. "This is home," Tāne said, his voice fierce. Aroha agreed, her bond with the island unbreakable. The shepherds adapted, their instincts guiding villagers to safety during floods. Tāne, now old, led a pack to high ground, saving Aroha's family. "You're still my hero?" Kahu told him, his heart full. The dog's legacy was alive, their courage a light in the dark. Kahu proposed a seawall, funded by global donors. "We'll protect our home," he said, uniting the village. Hana blessed the project, her voice a whisper. The dogs showed us how to fight. The island faced its future, ready for whatever came, its guardians by its side. By year 12, the shepherds' population stabilized at 300, their health monitored closely. Tāne, now 13, slowed but stayed by Kahu's side. Moana passed peacefully, Aroha burying her under a tree. "You saved me," she whispered, her tears mixing with soil. The sanctuary became a global model, with Kahu and Emma advising other islands. "Balance is work," Kahu told a UN panel, "but it's worth it." Tourists respected the island's rules, their visits sustainable. Tāne led tours, his stories of Rongo inspiring all. Hana, nearing 80, passed her leadership to Kahu. "You're ready," she said, her eyes bright. He felt her trust, his purpose clear. The shepherd's story wasn't ending. It was evolving, a testament to resilience, love, and the delicate dance of nature. Kahu stood on the cliff where Hana once stood, Tāne by his side, the Pacific stretching endless before them. He thought of the rabbits, the dogs, the storms, and the virus. "We made mistakes," he told Tāne, his voice soft. "But we learned." Aroha joined him, now 17, her vet studies thriving. "Moana's with us," she said, touching a necklace with her dog's tag. Tāne, grayer but strong, led hikes, his stories uniting the community. The island was alive, its scars a map of survival. Hana's words echoed in Kahu's mind. Honor the land. He'd done that, through every crisis. The shepherds were fewer, but their spirit was eternal. Te Whakaari wasn't just an island. It was a story, a lesson, a home. Kahu smiled, ready for the next adventure. Te Whakaari's story reached new heights, with a Netflix series, Shepherds of the Pacific, captivating millions. Kahu played himself, Tāne stealing scenes. Aroha's book topped charts, her TED Talk inspiring youth. "The dogs taught me to fight," she said, her voice strong. Tāne became an elder, his wisdom guiding the village. "Rongo's with every puppy," he told children, their eyes wide. The sanctuary hosted researchers, its data shaping conservation laws. Emma stayed, her bond with the island unbreakable. "This is home," she said. The island's seawall rose, protecting its shores. Tourists planted trees, their visits healing the land. Kahu felt Hana's presence, her legacy alive. The shepherd's tale was global, a reminder that even small acts could change the world. Tāne's health faded, his eyes cloudy, but spirit fierce. Kahu cared for him, sleeping by his side. "You started this," he whispered, stroking his fur. Aroha visited daily, her vet skills easing Tāne's pain. "He's our king," she said, tears falling. The community honored Tāne with a ceremony, placing a carved collar at the sanctuary. "He's our ancestor now," Tāne said, his voice thick. Tourists left tributes, their messages shared online. Tāne the Guardian trended, uniting the world in gratitude. Kahu felt Tāne's legacy in every dog, every field. "You showed us how," he said, his heart full. The island was ready for its future, its guardians eternal. The adventure was theirs, and they'd carry it forward no matter what came. Aroha trained new pups, their energy lighting the sanctuary. "They're Moana's spirit," she told Kahu, now a global conservation leader. Tāne mentored youth, his stories of Rongo inspiring them to protect the land. "This is our kaitiaki," he said, using the Māori term for guardian. The island hosted a global summit, with leaders learning from Te Whakaari's story. Kahu spoke, his voice steady. "The shepherds taught us balance, love, and resilience. That's our gift to the world." The crowd applauded, the dogs barking in unison, a chorus of hope. Hana's spirit lived in every act, her prayers answered. The seawall held, the fields thrived, and the kaka sang. Te Whakaari was a beacon, its story a call to action. The shepherd's legacy was secure, their lessons eternal. Kahu stood on the cliff, a new pup by his side, the Pacific glowing under the stars. He thought of Tāne, Moana, Rongo, and Hana, guardians who'd shaped him. "We're still learning," he said, the pup nuzzling his hand. Aroha joined him, her eyes bright. "For them," she said. The island was alive, its story shared worldwide. Tourists came not for photos but for lessons, planting trees and honoring the dogs. Tāne led a final hike, his voice strong. "This is our home, our heart." The shepherds roamed, their barks a song of resilience. Te Whakaari's miracle wasn't perfect, but it was real. The dogs had saved an island, and the island had saved them. As the stars shone, Kahu felt the balance, fragile, fierce, eternal. "What's next?" Aroha asked. He smiled. "Whatever comes, we're ready." The adventure lived on.